And KSI's like, what are the haters going to say now, son? You're like, I think they'll probably say that 88% of people who invested in this project are still f***ed. That would be my guess. Now, if you bought one of Logan Paul's CryptoZoo NFTs, you have the next 6 minutes to get your NFT into a very complicated process by which Logan Paul will generously buy back the NFT that you bought through CryptoZoo for what you paid. What about the people who bought the crypto coin? You are screwed. Why? You just are, man. You just are. We're covering 12% of what people invested in this project, and that's what it is. Here's the deal. Logan Paul believes that he has very little responsibility in this project. And I have a very unique perspective on this particular topic because I was involved in a project like this that, thank God, we didn't launch, because I would be absolutely like torn in half if I launched something, promoted it to my viewers, they spent money on it, which then became valueless, something that they thought was going to be, you know, a nice investment, regardless of what the market did. If I was like, you guys got to get in this thing, you got to buy it, they bought it. Any of my viewers trusted me enough to spend money on something, and then the entire market imploded and they lost their money, I would not be able to deal with that psychologically at all. I would have made them whole a long time ago. But on this one, I wanted to look at the details of what Logan's, buyback program looks like, so that we can discuss it, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I also just can't help but bring up KSI, because KSI was never really on my radar. Like, he's like not like a guy that I paid a lot of attention to. But since I started looking at, like his stuff here and there, I have recognized exactly what KSI is. I'm not convinced KSI is an actual human. I think KSI is an extraordinarily advanced AI bot, whereby some kind of chat GPT advanced learning system took all the most cliche things about how people visualize a young, famous YouTube creator, and it just molded it into a human, digital human, and that's KSI. Has anyone ever actually met KSI in person? I, however, am a real person, not an AI bot, and this real person is asking you to please subscribe to the channel so that we can be friends in real life. I love all of my subscribers, even if you guys break my balls in the comments. I love you guys. Subscribe and then like this video too, because if not, I think he's an AI bot. It's all influencer. He's like, I guarantee you he's talked into a money phone, a brick of money, and done the money phone thing. Oh yeah. I can't, usually with more, this is fake money, by the way. I guarantee when he commented on the buyback program, this is why I brought it up, is because he tweeted, what the hate is going to say now. And I was like, oh my God, what are the haters going to say now? Dude, are you kidding me? That's your take? Like, that's your take? That's your initial take? Now, he did have a subsequent take that was definitely much better. But the first one, what the hate is going to say now? And you're like, dude, he promoted an NFT project and game that people invested millions of dollars into on the promise that he made, okay? And then it imploded and they all lost all their money. And people were like, dude, I trusted Logan Paul and I lost my money. And so Logan Paul's like, I will buy back some of the things that you guys lost, about 12%. And you have 5 minutes to submit your claim. I'm just kidding. You have 30 days, but nonetheless. And KSI's like, what are the haters going to say now, son? You're like, I think they'll probably say that 88% of people who invested in this project are still fucked. That would be my guess. My guess would be like, oh, what are they going to say? Well, 88% of the money that was invested in the project is gone. So if they were going to hate, I would imagine that's what they would say. And here's the thing. I am not here to hate. I'm not here to hate on this at all. I'm just going to tell you what's going on, and I'm just going to make jokes about KSI being an AI bot. But seems like a rich AI bot, Like I said, I'm not convinced he's a real human. I think when Prime gets acquired, all that money's going to go to BlackRock, and BlackRock's like, all these guys still believe this KSI guy's real. It's unbelievable what you could do with digital artificial intelligence now. So, anywho, here's the deal, okay? So when you do the crypto buyback program, and I got this, let me give credit where credit's due. We can just watch a little bit of the CoffeeZilla thing, because CoffeeZilla did a great job covering this, and he deserves some, he's obviously gotten a lot of credit already, but let's give him more.
Refunding people he scammed if they promise to stop suing him for the vastly larger amount he may owe them. And honestly, I'm conflicted, because on the one hand, victims getting money is always great, and I'm proud that our investigation led to some real-world consequences. But I can't pretend that things are fixed or fine for people who entrusted me with their story when that's just not true. So here's the real, more complicated story in 3 parts: the refund offer, the zoo tokens, the lawsuit, starting with the most important part. And if you get one thing from this story, this should be it. These are the estimated damages in CryptoZoo, $18.5 million, which comes from a combination of ZooCoin and NFT sales. And then this, much smaller percentage of that pie, is what Logan is actually offering to refund, on the condition, though, that all of the people who spent the last year suing him for the larger damages drop their case.
There you go. So that's the key. That's the key thing to understand, is that if you take the money refund for whatever you paid, it's like a few, I think, honestly, I'm pretty sure it's like a few $100 or something, each one, then you are going to indemnify him from any future financial liability related to this project. All right. So let's not, let's not pretend that he's doing this out of charity or that he's just trying to make this right. He is making a business decision, as a person who is worth hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars would do, when they start looking at what it's going to cost to defend against this many lawsuits. Now, is it likely that people who are worried about a few $100s are going to be able to put together the scratch to hire a lawyer? No. Is it likely that there will be a class action attorney that will very easily reach the people who have been involved in this, because there's probably communities of it, and they're like, hey, do you want to get on top of this lawsuit? And they're like, yes. It's like, what do you need from me? They're like, nothing. We just need you to send your information through email, and you are a part of this class action lawsuit. And so, it's a no-brainer. He's like, look, I'll pay each of them a few $100 so that I don't have to defend against a much larger lawsuit with those people. Now, this is where the story gets more complicated, is that I know exactly how all of this works. Like I said. And I'm talking, I was one of the people that was in Logan Paul's exact position. Okay? Like, not just, I'm going to be part of kind of like a public facing part of a project like this, but also I'm a non-technical blockchain person. I don't know how the NFT, I do now, but I did not know anything about how NFTs worked. I didn't know anything about how crypto coin, new coins work, like altcoins or whatever. I didn't know any of that. When I learned about how they worked, my exact comments were, how the fuck is this legal? I mean, literally, just instantaneously, I was like, wait, what? I'm like, how is this legal? How is this not a Ponzi scheme? Bottom line, one of the most overused terms for this is a fraud is, it's a Ponzi scheme. And you're like, what does that mean? They're like, it's like a financial fraud. It's like, right, it is a financial fraud. All Ponzi schemes are financial frauds. Not all financial frauds are Ponzi schemes, okay? I'm going to give you the most simple example, because this one actually happened, and it is incredibly simple to understand. There was a poker site, a very, very big one. I can't remember exactly the name of which one it was, but there were like all these huge professional poker players that were sponsors of it. Basically, if you get onto your account and you look, it says, I have $500 in my account, because you deposited $500 in your account. So let's say there are 1 million people who all have $500 in their account. How much money should be in the global account for the poker site? What is 1 million times 500? 500 million. Correct. Okay, 500 million. So let's say that people who are running the company, who are supposed to be separating revenue that they generate through gameplay and whatever into a different account, are using the player funds that you're never supposed to touch for other things like paying themselves or going on private jets or whatever. And then so it's like, wait, so how much money does everyone think they have? It's like they think they have 500 million because that's what it says on the thing. It's like, what do we have in that account? They're all 200 million. You're all, oh, so we're 300 million short of what everyone actually has. So like if people start cashing out too much, we're going to run out of money. It's like, yeah, that's exactly right. So that's a Ponzi scheme. And you could do it in stock market, in investment funds. You could do it in a poker site. You can do it in, altcoin crypto stuff, because this is why I bring this up. Every single altcoin was a Ponzi scheme. All of them. By design, they are Ponzi schemes. Because you can only, you take payment, the global share of, let me explain this actually a little bit better. So let's say you're going to launch a coin like Logan Paul did, and we'll get to why this is important to understand the program, right? So let's say you're going to launch a coin and you're like, how many coins do we want to launch? It's like, I mean, they would do way more than this, but let's say we're going to make 10 million coins. Like, all right, cool. And how much are we going to say that each coin is worth? $10. So it's like, all right. So we are selling 10 million coins at $10. So we are going to sell them all. Let's say they're going to sell them all. That's going to generate $100 million. Okay. Now they pay for that in Ethereum, right? So Ethereum comes in. So you get $100 million in Ethereum in this global account, right? Now you've sold them. Okay. You've sold these coins, $100 million in Ethereum. Well, now there's incredible high demand. There's demand all over the place for these coins. And so people start buying them for more on the exchanges. They're all, well, I'll pay this much for it. I'll pay this much for it. I'll pay this much for it. Okay, well, so what is the value backing these coins? Because I bought this one for $10 and now they're saying it's worth 100. Awesome. That's great, man. It's worth 100 now? Cool. And so they go sell it for 100. Ethereum goes to that person. But how is it worth 100 when there was only 100 million taken in? If it's worth 100, then there should be $1 billion in here. There's not. It's a Ponzi scheme by definition. That is what these crypto, like these coin projects were all built that way. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but in its most basic form, that's it. And every single one of them would have fees and things like that, where the founders are getting money taken out of the backside. So like not only have they sold the coins for what they're worth, but built into the contract, some of that money that they are selling them for comes out and goes to the creators of the project. Okay. So again, as soon as I heard how it worked, I was like, how the fuck is this legal? And it's like, well, the government's just too stupid to have made regulations for it yet. Not to mention, Elon Musk can just go, all right, I'm going to buy $5 million worth of Dogecoin. I'll just, flip a coin. Actually, I'll just throw a dart at the board, and whichever one it lands on, I'll just go create $300 million of value for myself. He's like, Dogecoin. Goes and buys, however much he wants to buy. And then he goes on Twitter. He's all, Dogecoin is the coin of the future. Beep. What? Oh, I have $300 million of Dogecoin. I guess I'll just slowly start getting out of it. Keep promoting it, and I'll put that money into Tesla. So the entire crypto industry, in that sense, was the Wild West, okay? Bitcoin is very different. Ethereum is very different. There are other ones. I'm not like an expert on the stable coins, but we're talking about like stuff like Dogecoin and those, whatever. So the CryptoZoo project had one component that were NFTs, all right? So that's like a, it's a digital piece of art that is validated by the blockchain that this is the real one, right? So you have two identical images. Someone's got it as their profile picture, but one of them is a JPEG that there was a screenshot. The other one is the original. The way that it's the original is because the transaction and it's imprinted on the blockchain or whatever. So you buy one of those and you have that. That is what Logan Paul is saying he will buy back from you, is the NFT part. But the other part, the other 88%, okay, was the coin itself. So they were selling the coins because they're like, oh yeah, this is going to work. This is, you're going to use these in the game. Like you're going to buy these and use them in the game. And so a lot of people bought them. because they thought they were going to use them in the game. Now, of course, part of that was speculation that because the game was going to be cool, then those coins would increase in value. So yeah, for sure, there's speculation there. But what were they basing their optimism about the prospects of this coin on? Was this just a random coin like Doge, where Elon's all Doge is the coin of the future? Or was this like an entire project that Logan Paul attached his name to and said they're going to launch, and then people are going to get to use this coin inside of the game? Yeah, that's what happened. So now the game's not launching at all. The whole thing imploded. And so listen, I'm not saying I would make everyone whole on $18.5 million when the entire industry imploded, because this is the ugly part of this. I'll get into how this actually happened, like the actual details, like behind the scenes of how this blew up in a second. But the bottom line is the entire industry imploded. All of the altcoins, boom. All the NFTs, boom. Valueless, just all at once. It's just like a total, Black Friday market collapse. If that wouldn't have happened, there is a high probability that stupid coin would have been worth an astronomical amount of money and would still probably be going up, and be like, dude, Logan Paul has $750 million in that coin that he launched? People would be like, he's a genius. Nothing would be different except that the market didn't implode. Like if he would have launched it 2 years before he did, that's what would have happened. Nonetheless, he got into business with scumbags. And that's because the crypto industry is full of charlatans and scumbags, because they do everything anonymously. You have no idea who these people are. It's not like you don't know their address. You have no ability to actually interact with them in the physical world. It's all like this. Okay. And they're the people who are kind of deep in the crypto world that you're going to have to interact with if you want to have smart contracts for the NFTs and for, the people who know how to do an altcoin launch. A huge percentage of them are incredibly meticulous about not being who they actually are publicly. So like I said, I went through this, and you've been looking at contracts. You're like, I'm the most paranoid person on earth. So I would go and I'd, cross-reference them, and then I'd figure out where they actually were. And then I would, I'd look up their resume and all this stuff. So just to make sure they're real people. But Logan Paul got into bed with scumbags, straight up, who stole the money and then rug pulled the project. Okay. That's on him. That's the whole point. Is he's acting like these were bad actors, and that's why the project went belly up. And it's true. Okay. But if those guys would have just tried to launch the project and generate the money that was generated, how do you think they would have done? I feel like they probably wouldn't have done very well in comparison to if one of the largest influencers in the history of the world launches this thing and he's like, crypto zoo. So to act like you're not responsible is ridiculous. Dude, listen, this is the bottom line. I'm sure there were a lot of people at Enron who had no idea what was going on. None, not until the very end. The fact that Logan didn't make any money is why I don't really break his balls too hard on this. The only reason is because of that, because he personally did not make any money, and he invested a bunch of money into the project. So he got fucked along with everyone else. Problem is, doesn't matter if he got fucked, because you fucked other people. So this is the bare minimum that he could do. I mean, it's honestly not that dissimilar from the P. Diddy thing, where he's giving artists their masters now. He's like, you always wanted the masters, dude. You wanted the master rights to your, to your music. I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to do that. It's just part of my PR, man. I'm just trying to, make myself look a little bit more positive, a little more positive influence, on the community, whatever. I think people are going to see what I did, and they're going to be like, maybe I should just be a little bit more charitable to my artists. And they're like, okay, cool. They sign, the contract's I can never say a single negative thing about P. Diddy. I can never reveal the fact that he drugged my girlfriend and then, had his friends run a train on her while she was asleep. And anything that I say can be met with me being dragged behind a car until the skin is peeled off of my face and I die a horrifying death. And I just signed that. And then it's well, at least I got the masters, y'all. Hey, how much money have you made on those masters, Diddy, in the last 2 years? He's all, what? The masters, how much are they worth? He's all, I made $8 million on that one. You're all, right, but when? Why? I'm just wondering. Well, I made $6 million in 2005, and I made $2.5 million in 2006. You're all so valueless then. Well, maybe a little bit valueless now. Okay, cool. So you got them to indemnify you for nothing. Everyone except for Danity Kane. Those smart ass girls figured it out. So it's not that bad because obviously Logan Paul is just trying to get himself out of a legal jam related to this particular project. I'm not going to put him next to, a serial assaulter, someone who as general practice, puts things in the drinks that all the girls are going to drink and none of them know. Probably a little bit more serious. But when it comes to lawsuits, Logan is still suing Dillon Danis. And so I'm going to be on this side of the fence on Logan until that's not the case. And if they really do go through and they bankrupt this guy, that's a headshot for life, as far as I'm concerned. Get control of your girl, dude. Every time I talk about Logan, I will always come back to this at the end, okay? What did Dillon Danis do to deserve to get sued and bankrupted? He put up naked photos of my fiance. Oh yeah, where'd he get those? What do you mean? Where did he get the photos that he put up? I don't think that's relevant. I think it is, dude. Because if what he did was search on the internet for photographs that she personally put out publicly in magazines, then what are you talking about? Well, they weren't all like that. But you are saying that, like, she has shown herself naked publicly many times, and then in interviews have talked about, like, she shows herself naked to get attention on social media, etc. How is that relevant? Well, you're bankrupting Dillon do I really need to explain this? That's not the only reason, dude. Oh, well, so what else? He made her, he destroyed her reputation. Oh, you mean by putting out interviews and clips that she did herself? It's just he compiled them together to where someone who was just watching sporadically over a 10-year period might have seen a lot of different things, but when you put them all together, it's kind of like, man, this girl loves dick, Just makes her look like she loves dick. Like, you want to know what my opinion on all of that was? I was watching it, I'm like, damn, Logan is probably slaying that dude. He is probably absolutely slaying that, because if not, my goodness gracious, because it looks like she can't take it if she doesn't get enough of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, the lawsuit against Dillon is complete bullshit. And I would respect Logan more if he just said, hey, Dillon hit me in the face with a microphone. Okay. And I've got him on the balls with my fiance's lawsuit. So yeah, I acknowledge it's a mean thing for me to do. Cruel even. He's a new father. We were partners in this fight. He did a really good job promoting it, but he tried to break my face and not in the ring. So I'm going to break his life. I'd be like, damn, that's cold, son. That is cold, but I can respect it. At least I can respect it. But no, we're actually seriously going to act like this is merited. The thing that really bothers, I know it's like, it's just so stupid. Anyway, but that's probably enough of this. I love you guys. So subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Bye-bye.